Good afternoon, everybody. I'll be looking at my leadership style, or better yet, the understanding of why we should look at our leadership styles. And as well, going over the job interview process and ways we can even improve it. And when I say that, I mean my personal experience and what I believe could generate a better experience for the job interview process. So the very first point, we look at leadership styles. I had to really dive deep into the chapter. I had to really find things. And it was something about Hersey and Blanchard that really stood out to me. And it was their model for situational leadership. I'm the type of individual that I look at things based on situation, but I didn't understand the level of situations. So there are four key points when you talk about them and you talk about those situational leadership, right? There's four styles. It's telling, which you're giving out instructions. There's selling, which is, you know, the understanding of I'm going to put you in these positions. I'm going to help you participate, and I'm still going to hold some authority. Uh, Participation, where you know you're sharing the decision making with the team, with others, so you're not taking all the burden by yourself. And then delegating. Delegating is the ability to step back, maybe have someone else take care of it, maybe someone else does it, and saying, I can trust this person to take care of that, that person take care of this. So looking at that leadership style, that one really resonated with me. And that's a particular leadership style that honestly, it's powerful. It's one that proves to me I'm that type of leader. But I have two of those styles. Telling, I give clear cut directions when I'm working, when I'm doing anything at home, any project, any whatever it is I do, I try to be clear. And number two, I delegate. If I can delegate, that means I can focus on another task. I usually have to multitask anyway. So delegate, those are kind of my strong suits. And those being able to develop is pretty cool. To really drive the home point home is when you look at situational leadership, that speaks very loudly to understanding your environment, understanding your surroundings, and understanding the goals and the team. And based on that, putting all the parts in place. And I feel that's a strong leadership style that leads to success. So it's really interesting having read about that and really learned more about it. And then in the book, the other component, right? We need to talk about this, the job interview process. Give you guys a quick rundown of one of my interviews a couple of years ago. I'd say probably 3 years ago. So we're still kind of in the midst of COVID. So a lot of virtual interviews. I interviewed with this one recruiter, very nice person, but they didn't ask good questions to me. I felt they were weak questions. And what I mean by that is, why would you ask a question that just says yes or no? You should never ask that question as an interview because then you're not looking for someone who fits the culture or the company structure or even what the role entails to be the right fit. You're looking for someone who just checks off whatever little box you need to check off, or you've already found someone and you're just indulging in an interview. Well, I love what the book said about this. The book says that a lot of times recruiters, they make a mind-blowing mistake. They ask you technical questions when they really need to be asking behavioral questions. One perfect example, one question I've heard in every interview I've ever dealt with. Do you work well with deadlines? You may ask yourself, that might be a good question. It is a horrible question. And the reason it's horrible, the book even says that's a technical question. If you want to get the same information, but more, ask in a behavioral sense. And it sounds like, tell me about a time when you had to meet a tight deadline and how did you manage it? That question opens more opportunity because now you're giving the person a chance to show how they can fit in the role and where maybe you didn't manage it the best, they could see an opportunity. And it's an opportunity to show that you're the right fit, you're the right culture, you have the right attitude. And those are the things, when you do something like that, you're creating a better interview process and an environment. And that's what the biggest thing. So in conclusion, as I'm talking about both, I have a situational leadership, and I think it's key to learn your situational leadership style. If you don't know it, it's best because whether it's going to be for work, whether it's for your home, whether it's for friends, a club, a meet, an organization, You got to have a leadership style because you have to understand how you work and how you can help others be the best version of themselves. And as well, when you do that, we also need the people who are going to be interviewers and interviewing understand those things so that they can ask better clarifying questions that gives the applicant or interviewee an opportunity to really express who they are and why they what they bring to the table. So thank you guys so much for listening and have a great day.